The narcissist pushes to the breaking point. Think about that for a minute. So you're learning about the breaking points that you were pushed to. You're also learning that each and every one of us has a point of no return, and that more and more people are understanding now that they need to go no contact. They need to get these narcissistic creatures out of their lives. You're one of those people. So am I. Remember, the world is changing. The waves of abundance are growing. The waves of authenticity are here. There's no more room in your life now or in the future for toxicity. There's no more room for games. There is no more room for manipulating. There's no more room for giving somebody another chance over and over and over again, and that person continuing to let you down. The narcissist knows what they're doing. They had done to you what they had done to other people, and they're doing to other people right now what they had done to you. Maybe not at the level of the toxicity that you experienced, but truth be told, maybe at a higher level. One never knows. But the narcissist will continue to push people to the breaking point, because this is what fuels the narcissist. Now again, I've talked about supply ad nauseum over years in videos. What is supply? We now know what it is. It's anything that matters to the narcissist. You were a fuel source. You were a supply source in the eyes of the narcissist. You were a person who was doing what they wanted you to do when they wanted you to do it. And if you did it, fantastic. If you didn't, you would still be punished, no matter how you cut it. You couldn't win when you were trapped in that narcissistic relationship. Now you're understanding so much more about yourself, about narcissism, about humanity, about empathy, about mindset, but also about cutting the four ties from the narcissist. And the four ties are, of course, the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie. As those ties get cut, you get stronger. As you get stronger, the narcissist becomes weaker. Eventually, you will realize that that relationship wasn't as bad as you thought it was. It was 1,000 times worse. And the narcissist never wanted you figuring that out. They never wanted you healing. They didn't want you seeing behind the mask, and they did not want you ever finding your purpose or finding out exactly how strong you are. You see, the narcissist supply needs, plural, they run deep, because the narcissist has a huge void within them, a huge bottomless pit within them that must be filled with supply. That supply valve was turned off from you to them. No matter if you were discarded or you ended it, however the relationship ended, it ended. And that is when the narcissist no longer had access to you. Officially, when that happened is when you went no contact. But when you turned the spigot of access to you off to the narcissist, you helped yourself out immensely, probably more than you even knew. You also simultaneously sent them a message that they are not welcome in your life, that you want nothing to do with them, that your boundaries will do the talking for you, that your silence will do the talking for you, and that you finally caught on to who they are, what they did, and what they are capable of doing in the future. You will not be the first person, and you need to play this part of the video multiple times. You will not be the first person who has ever gone no contact with the narcissist. You will be most likely the person you will go no contact with or blocking. Most likely that will be the first person you've ever blocked. It doesn't mean it was the first person or it will be, but this is all new to you. To the narcissist, it's old hat. They play the blocking game, unblocking, blocking, unblocking with dozens, if not hundreds of people. And those numbers I just shared with you are actually lowballed. What does lowball mean? It means they are sandbagged. What does sandbag mean? It means those numbers are probably lower than, I'm mentioning they're lower than they really are. They're probably much higher. But to you, blocking or going no contact was a foreign experience. You didn't want to do it, and you didn't think that it would really help you. Well, when you realize that doing it did help you, and you should have done it a long time ago, but you are such an empath, and you didn't realize how deep in the narcissistic fog you were, that it wasn't your fault. You didn't know any better. I didn't either. Truth be told, the block button, the B button, I had not even used that until I mastered it by removing the parasitical creatures, plural, from my life. Before that, I just thought the block button, okay, well, whatever, I just won't talk to that person, not such a big thing. Well, no, that's not how it is. The block button was created to insulate and protect yourself and to put up a boundary when you need help. And that's why we block people, mainly the narcissist. But when the narcissist pushes people to the point of no return or to the breaking point, it's because this is what they do. The narcissist burns people out. The narcissist will take anything that somebody has. The narcissist will steal whatever somebody has right out from underneath them. That's why when you were with said person in the beginning, mainly the early days, but throughout the whole body of that relationship, they were always learning about you. They acted like they didn't care. They acted like they weren't listening to you. They acted like they weren't interested in anything that you had to say. And a lot of that was true. But under the radar, under the hood of the narcissist, behind the mask, they were listening to the words you were saying. They were paying attention. All they were trying to do was to devalue you as they were consuming your information, to not make it seem like it was important, even though it was. And so you didn't get too high on your horse, or you didn't feel too high and mighty. You see, this is what the narcissist does. They want to devalue people. The narcissist can't have anybody doing better in life than they do, and that includes their spouses, their romantic relationships, their children, and everybody else who ever encounters them. That's why the narcissist, once they get their dirty fangs sunken into somebody, that's why it's game, set, match, advantage narcissist. Until when? Ding, ding, ding. Until it's not. That's when you get the message. And usually people that were in narcissistic relationships, they don't figure it out until it's too late. Well, it will be too late every single time. But B, until they're discarded or until it's ended. That's why I create videos every day, to pay it forward, to help out you and to help out people who don't even know that they need help, because at one point, we all were what is known as the new supply. The new supply is not who you want to be, no matter what you think. That's the last person on the planet you want to be, because the new supply is most likely being love bombed, or maybe the love bomb just ended. But any way you look at it, their money will be going to zero, their health will be deteriorating, their clarity will disappear, their friendships or any relationships will be imploded from the inside out, and the narcissist will do to the new supply what they had done to you. Any way you cut it, that will happen. Or, of course, if the new supply is toxic, well, then the narcissist you're considering is going to get what's coming to them at the hands of a bigger fish in the sea of manipulation, or in an ocean of abuse. See how everything free flows? Now, having said these things, why the narcissist pushes to the breaking point, it's because they want to feel superior to everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. And if they could take a beautiful shining light, a beautiful bright shining light like you, or like myself, and turn us inside out and twist us upside down so we have no idea what year it is, what day it is, how to tie our shoes, what peanut butter to buy. We don't know what's going on because we are so deep in the trauma bond, we are so deep in the narcissistic fog, and we are so deep in the devaluation stage that we don't know what's going on. And we become loyal to our abusers, we become loyal to our manipulators, and we become loyal to the people that we believe have our best interest at heart, even though in the back of our minds we know something's wrong. But because we weren't taught this in school, we couldn't identify we were in a challenging, life-threatening, debilitating relationship with a narcissist from hell. We didn't know that. So again, it wasn't our fault. When we were trapped, we had no idea. Truth be told, if anybody had knocked on our door and said, hey, knock, 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 just want to let you know, you are married to a narcissist and that person is trying to kill you or destroy your life. Yeah, I said it, sorry, but it's true. You would have probably still made excuses for your partner. And you didn't have to be married to the narcissist, but that was a hypothetical example because you still were in it so deep, you'd be making excuses, even though you knew something was off. That's why very few people will ever understand what you went through. That's why I personally can finish your sentence, no matter where you are in the journey, in a split second, because I've lived it. I went through the cycle. I know what it's like to be single. I know what it's like to be trapped in a narcissistic relationship. I know what it's like to have no money, to be destitute, to be broken, to not be able to walk, to not be able to see, to not be able to even have enough time or energy or money to feed myself. But then again, I also know what it's like to be here in the Carolina woods with this beautiful background, this beautiful, authentic, absolutely amazing, incredible day in the middle of summer. And I know what it's like to be free, to be liberated, to not have to deal with somebody who's trying to push me to the breaking point, to not have to deal with people who are doing nothing but creating landmines around me, to not have to be in the proximity or the vicinity or the space of negative energy. You see, think about this for one moment. Where you were when you were in the relationship was the same place I was. You were in a minefield of misery. You were in a battlefield of toxicity. You were in a war field, not knowing what was going on, where the next shoe would drop. This is why you were being sleep deprived. This is why you were being counter-parented, not co-parented. This is why your health went down the tubes. This is why your money went to zero. This is why no one was listening to you. That's why no one was there for you. Not only because of the smear campaign, because you were in it so deep you didn't even know how you got where you got to. It all goes away. It all vanishes. It all adds up. Once the relationship not ends, but once the relationship, you get far away from it. The further you get away from said person, the stronger you will get. I've said that for years, but now the stronger you get, the clearer your mind gets. The narcissist never wanted you to have a clear mind. They wanted you to have a cloudy mind. Here's a very simple layman's term example for you. You have a stream, wherever you live, say there's a stream nearby. Well, you dip your hand in the stream, and the stream has perfectly clear water because it comes from the mountaintop. Yes, the mountaintop of indifference, a beautiful, lush, extravagant, sensational, absolutely abundant place, which is where I am right now, and my hope is you're there with me. But that water, if you took your hand and you put your hand a little bit lower in the mud or the murk, and you stirred it up like that, well, the clear crystal water would become murky. That's what the narcissist wanted you to be existing in, that murky water. That's what the narcissistic fog is. And that's why they pushed you to the breaking point. You see, the narcissist knew if they could get close to you and plant seeds in your mind, seeds of negativity, seeds of doubt, seeds of wondering, seeds of confusion, seeds of FOMO, seeds of anything they wanted to plant in your mind. They knew if they could do that and continue to reinforce it over a period of time, day, week, month, year, decade, that eventually you would hear it more and more and more, and you would get accustomed to it. They also knew that you cared about them, whether you fell in love with them or loved them, or whether you were in business with them, wherever it was. They knew that you were invested in them. They were never invested in you the way you were invested in them. You were invested in them because you're an empath, and that's what we do. They were invested in you because you are a diamond in the rough. You are rarer than most people on the planet. That's why you were targeted, because they saw in you what you couldn't see in yourself. And right when they realized that, oh my gosh, I have a live one here, which was you, yep, it was me too, then they say, wait, I can't let this one go. This kind of person doesn't cross my path every single day. As a matter of fact, I've never come across somebody like you. I'm acting like the narcissist again, and I'm not. So I need to make sure that I put the invisible leash around said person's ankles, wrists, and neck, so they go nowhere and they become loyal and subservient to me. And that's what the narcissist did, and that's what they always do when they find a grade A source of supply. Remember, sources of supply are dwindling up on this planet. You were a source of supply. I was a source of supply. I am not a source of supply, nor are you. This is why the shift in energy has taken place all over the globe. And this is why once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is why once you experience it, you can't unexperience it. And this is why you have to go no contact, because the narcissist did their best to break you. Remember, I began to share this with you a few moments ago. The narcissist knew if they could get close to you and continue to reinforce negativity in your brain, that you would believe them. They also knew if they could isolate you from your support system, that you would become subservient to them or reliant upon them. They also knew if you were looking forward to seeing them, meaning communicate with them, that they could plant any rhetoric they wanted to in your mind. Now, I really hope you're paying attention to this part of the video. I've unpacked more nuggets of wisdom in this last 4.5 minutes than I have probably in the other 12 minutes of the video combined. Why I'm sharing that is you need to understand the narcissist did this deliberately and intentionally and on purpose. If you think they didn't, you would be wrong. Not only did they do it, but they tried to break you. They kept micro discarding you over and over and over again. Then eventually they medium-sized discarded you. Example, a micro discard, it could be whatever you want it to be, but a micro discard could be like this. When you were in the relationship with the narcissist, say it's a Friday night and you had plans to go to your favorite restaurant, well, maybe they made you late and then maybe they blew up the meal. Okay, well, at the time that was a very big thing to you, but looking back, it wasn't as big as it was back then. See? I'm full of wisdom. You need to stick with the channel. You need to continue to keep coming back and getting your cup full. But fast forwarding, now when that happened, the narcissist realized that you still gave them a pass when that micro discard happened in the past on a Friday night when you're going to grab dinner. They realized that you still turned a blind eye and you didn't do much about it. They also realized, oh, that worked. Okay, I was late. I was cheating on the person, which possibly was you or myself, but they were late and they made you pay the price because they were twisting the knife in you, grooming a new supply source, and you still stayed in there. So when they did that, then what would they do? Maybe in a month, maybe in a week, maybe a couple months down the road, they would say, wait, this one worked when I was late on the Friday night. Now I'll extend that to a weekend. I'll blow up their whole weekend. See how the micro discard gets bigger? And then that happened. So example, the Friday night, now it turns into a weekend. They ghosted you over the weekend, or they blew it up, or made you have a horrible weekend. Then that became the pattern. Then eventually what happened? You two aren't talking. You go from romance to roommate, and the next thing you know, they're sucking the energy out of the room that you're living in or the house. You can cut the air, the tension with a butter knife. It is not a place you want to be in. You're staying at work longer and longer, even though you're paying the bills for the house or the mortgage, etc. But they're sponging off of you, and they know it because they're burning you out. That's why they pushed you to the breaking point. So what happened eventually, using that example? Well, eventually you possibly talked to them, and what were they doing? Maybe they were sitting around waiting for the reverse discard. They were saying, you know what? I'm just going to make their life so miserable. Eventually they'll have to come to me and say this isn't working out. And then what will I do? I'll have all the leverage, and then I could get more money or twist the knife in deeper. See, it's very simple to put yourself in the shoes of the tiny little pea-brained narcissist once you're out and once you've healed. It's anything but easy to do when you're in the cycle and you have no idea what's going on. But when you're out, it's simple. And I do mean simple. Now, I dip myself in and out of the pea-brain of the narcissist now and again during one-on-one sessions and to create a video, but believe me, I don't want to be in that mindset too long because, one, it's boring. Two, it's a huge, vast wasteland. Three, it's repetitive. And C, it's the same old thing over and over and over again. It is so tiresome to have to put myself in the mind of the tiny little pea-brain narcissist, but that's what I do. And you may say, why'd you say it 3 times, pea-brain? Well, I said it 4 times because the truth of the matter is when you really see behind the mask, just like in The Wizard of Oz, at the very end when Toto pulls back the curtain and you realize that the person who was controlling the whole movie, The Wizard of Oz, it was nothing but a person standing on a stool, pressing buttons, pulling levers, and there was nothing to that person. It was nothing but a sham. It was a Ponzi scheme. It was a house of cards. It was an illusion. It was nothing but somebody planting seeds in your mind trying to control you. And that's what the narcissist did. That's what they do. And that's what they will always do until narcissism, the behavior and the disorder is eradicated. Not the people, not the human being, but the behaviors and the mannerisms. And my hope is that happens in the very near future. But until it does, we need to continue to control what we can control. Realize that we are the priority, we come first, second, and third, and that, yeah, the narcissist pushes everybody to the breaking point, every single one of us. The key for this video right here, and then I will close it, is this. When you were pushed to the breaking point like I was, October 29th, 2020, what did you do when you were pushed to the breaking point? Did you put yourself back together, rise through the ashes, like a phoenix, dust yourself off by the bootstraps and heal properly, like I did? Or is that what you're doing? Because it's what you should be doing. You need to take this very seriously and stay away from the narcissist. They will never change. They only deteriorate. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the absolutely gorgeous Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. This location where I am right now, it is so peaceful and quiet. I really hope that the sound of these videos is helping out. Less noise, let's put it that way, or less loud sounds. But I found I'm talking remarkable space here, and I'll continue to explore wherever I am. And in the very, very near future, I will be traveling in our amazing country here, yes, the United States, and I will be perhaps visiting a location coming to you. This is not public speaking yet, but what it will be we'll be exploring different states that I've not visited yet, and new avenues and new places in our country. So I want to let you know one thing. Please keep doing what you're doing. Focus on what you can control. Understand you are stronger than you know. I'm sending you a big hug, a big virtual hug, and a big virtual heart. You are an amazing human being. And above all, remember this. You are not alone. I will say that one more time. You are not alone. We are connected, and I'm here for you. We are all connected all over the planet, every single one of us who was ever targeted. Love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.